Welcome to the Empower Podcast, where wellness meets real life and empowerment becomes your way of being. I'm your host, Sam. Hi guys, welcome back to the Empower Podcast. So today is a full-on solo episode. Just wanted to give you guys some life updates, kind of what's going on, and then dig into a Q&A. You guys know I love the Q&As, and that's, again, like one of the big reasons why I started this podcast, because there's so many different topics and things I want to talk about that on social media, on Instagram, I just did not have enough time, and I always felt bad about that. So now we finally have a space where we can do that. So life update. First off, how is it almost May? Insane. I feel like this year has just completely flown by. A lot of exciting things have happened. So I'll start with one of the biggest ones recently. So we are part of a new podcast network, the Pursuit Network. I am so excited about it. This is honestly beyond my wildest dreams. Still cannot believe it's a reality. Mari has been a huge inspiration to me. So the fact that this is actually happening and we're part of her team and network is just so amazing. So I'm really excited to see what opportunities this brings. I think that it's going to open up a lot of doors for some really exciting guests and leaders to come on to talk about all of the things, whether it's health, fitness, wellness, nutrition. I want to dig more into spiritual, emotional type things like manifestation and how to create the life you want. So get a little bit deeper as well. So I'm really excited about it. That's a really exciting life update. And then personally, a lot of things going on, a lot of business endeavors that I'm working on behind the scenes that I'm really excited about. Hyrox. So by the time this episode airs, I will have done Hyrox Atlanta, which is this coming weekend. So Ian and I are doing mixed doubles for that. And if you're listening and you're like, what is Hyrox? So basically it's a fitness race. It kind of combines both functional workouts and running. And the cool thing about this race is that what you see is what you get. So it's the same thing every single time. So you're not like, okay, what exercises or workouts is it going to be this time around? You literally have 8 stations, so ski erg, row, lunges, wall balls, functional stations like that. And then in between each station, you have a run. So it's the same distance for everything. And it's really about how fast you can go, which I did Las Vegas Hyrox back earlier this year, and I did solo. And that was a beast of its own. Doing it solo is so different versus mixed doubles or with a partner. It's just the entire workload on you. So it was a lot of training. And I feel like I'm at a point in my life right now where I love the sport so much, but just really focusing on the doubles aspect. And Ian is so much fun to do it with. I mean, Ian is obviously my partner, but he's my best friend. And it's just so much fun to work out with him. So it's more than just an intense race. We just have fun together, which makes it that much better. So we have that Hyrox Atlanta this weekend, and then we have Berlin next month with Hyrox. So I am part of the Puma team this year, their creators program. So doing all of their top tier Hyrox events, which I am so excited about, so stoked. And one of them is Berlin. So I have never been to Europe, and I am so excited. You guys have to let me know if anybody is listening that has been to Europe, Germany many times, or maybe you live there. You have to let me know all the spots to go, but that should be really fun. So that's going to be, I think, the 2nd or 3rd week in May. And yeah, we're going to have a great time. So we have the race in Berlin, and then we're going to go to Zurich, Lake Lucerne, and just see the beauty of the Swiss Alps. So I'm really excited about that. And then personally, we are just in full swing when it comes to all of the sports with the kids. The boys are in baseball. Reagan is in gymnastics and tumbling. She just started up track too. So we're kind of in that stage of all of the different practices and games and trying to juggle it all. But we're having a lot of fun time doing it. And it's also they're in that prime time age of just where memories I feel are created. I look back on my childhood and think about certain memories, whether it was vacations or sports, and it was that same age. They are 5, 3, and then 8. So we're in the thick of it, but we're having so much fun. So all the questions today, I did a little Q&A on my Instagram. I pulled a lot of questions that were repeats that I saw that obviously you guys want to know. And then I also just picked some that I think would be fun. So we will dig in. So can you make a big body comp change in your body working out at home if the gym isn't an option? Yes, you can. And I think that like this is something that holds people back from like reaching their full potential is the fact that, oh, I can't do what I want in a gym at home. And that's just not the case. It's how you use the weights that are going to make a difference. So a couple things, like first thing, consistency. If you're not consistent with it, like you're not going to see the results you probably want. I think also too, like lifting to the point of failure. So you want the weight to be heavy enough to where you can do proper form, but you want those last 2 to 3 reps to be a struggle to the point where like you max out and if you try to do another one, like you wouldn't have proper form. That's going to be putting stress on the muscles. It's going to be breaking down those fibers in the muscles. When they grow back, they're going to grow back stronger. And that's what produces that lean muscle mass. But you have to lift heavy enough that you are stressing the muscles enough to the point where they're going to grow. Another thing is progressive overload. So finding a workout program that makes sense for you based on the exercises that you can do with the tools that you have at home, but also building it in a progressive overload. So what this means is every single week, you're relatively doing the same exercises. You're just changing the sets and the reps and the intensity of it all. So say one week you're doing squats on a day and you're doing 3 sets of 8. Well, the next week, we might do 4 sets of 6. And with this, our goal is to lift heavier with those 4 sets of 6 because you're doing less reps in each set, which gives you an opportunity to really test those muscles with a little bit heavier weight, which long-term is going to grow that lean muscle mass, like I said earlier. Another thing is compound movement. So I'm such a big believer in utilizing the barbell. And I didn't start using the barbell until about a year and a half ago. And that's when I really noticed some body comp changes. But I think that you can still get those without a barbell. I think doing compound movements like squats and push-ups and presses with heavier dumbbells, like you can still use all the different muscles in your body to help create good form, which is going to result in building that muscle long-term. So when you're doing, a strict press with dumbbell, like you're bracing your core, right? You're stabilizing your legs, you're pushing through your feet, stabilizing that core to push up to full peak extension. And so you're really using all of those muscles in your body. So I think making sure that you are doing workouts like compound movements and exercises that are going to help you get there is going to make a big difference. Nutrition plays a part in this as well. So making sure that you are eating right alongside all of these workouts, because at the end of the day, you can work out as much as you want, but if your nutrition isn't dialed in, you're not necessarily going to see the results that maybe you want. You're also going to feel better when you have like proper nutrition. And I believe this so much. It's not just aesthetics. It's like aesthetics will follow when you set a good plan in place with a good workout program and proper nutrition. It's like those two plus consistency is what's going to create those results that you want. So making sure that you're hitting your protein every day, having well-balanced plates, right? With healthy fats, complex carbs, eating enough calories. Because if you're doing these workouts and you're not fueling yourself, well, you're not going to get those results that you want. And again, consistency, biggest thing. How is your cycle now? I lost my period 4 years ago due to HA as well. I'm really sorry that you're experiencing that. I hope it gets better, and hopefully some of the tips I can offer will help that. But as far as my personal cycle, so update with that, I got my period back in February and I've had 2 periods total, about to have my 3rd. So got my period back, and then the second time around, so in March, it was a longer time than I thought it would be. It was about 42-ish days. So a little bit longer, but I've read that like that can be normal when you are getting your period back, your cycle, after a long time without it. It just kind of takes time for your body to regulate. And I can feel like I'm about to start my period again. I'm very intuitive with my body. So like I can just feel it. It's definitely going to be coming soon. But I'm hoping that eventually it'll be like a 30-day cycle and get back on routine. I'm doing all the things to try to fuel that, like not overtraining, eating right, just like being very intuitive with my body. So we will see. Where do you plan your day? Do you plan it in an app, paper, planner? So this is something that I talk about a lot. I am such a believer in like writing down a schedule, because being a full-time mom, business owner, content creator, it's a lot to balance it all. And there is no way that I could do this without creating a plan. And I don't even think that you have to do like a ton of things in your life. Just like whether you were a stay-at-home mom or a working mom, like whatever that is, being able to just like create some structure with like the well thought of plan that you can quite literally check off the list, I think is so helpful. So I do a couple things. I have my phone, but then I'm also a pen and paper person. So I have a huge calendar that I got off Amazon that I will put in the show notes. Basically what I do is like, that is my content calendar. So anything content related, I will put on that. And then in my phone, I have like a lot of like my business meetings and calls and like more business type things. So I just use like Google Calendar and streamline all of my emails and invites into that and keep up with it that way. If it's something that's like very imperative, I will put on the planner. But every single Sunday night, I've talked about this before, I will like write out the week just on like notebook paper. I have a notebook and we'll just put Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, so forth, and bullet point like all the things that I want to get done. And then I will cross that off every single day as like the next day comes. This has helped me so much when it comes to staying on track, especially given the fact that I do have ADHD. Structure is necessary. It's just how I operate. And if I don't have it, things just don't get done. So that's the way I do it. This is a question I get often. So do you get Botox and filler? Yes. You guys know I am all about like a balanced lifestyle. The majority of the time, like 90% of the time, I fuel with clean products, eat well, movement, all the things that's going to support my health. But 10% of the time, I'm going to go to Chick-fil-A with my kids. I'm going to get Botox. I'm going to get filler. So I do get Botox. I don't get it like a lot, like often, but a couple times a year, I'll get it like in my forehead and then like around the top or outer part of my eye. And then I do get filler like once every blue moon in my lips, but like it's been a couple of years. I feel like my dermatologist has said when you get filler, it's like it creates an opportunity for your lips to naturally produce more collagen, I believe. So you don't have to get it as often once you get it a couple times. But I am such a believer in doing what makes you happy, whether that's Botox, filler, plastic surgery. But at the end of the day, I do think like natural beauty is the way to go. And if you can enhance it with some of those little things without going overboard, then that's the way to go. If it makes you happy, do it. Any tips for a freshly postpartum mom, physically and mentally drained? What has helped you and what has not helped? Oh, I feel this so much. Like, definitely feel this pulls in my heartstrings because I have been there. And I think that when you are in the thick of it, it's so hard to remember that it's just a phase. So what I want you to know, if you are dealing with this, you're postpartum, have little kids, just know it's just a phase. It's not going to be like that forever. And it can feel so overwhelming, so lonely, especially when you don't have the time like you used to dedicate to yourself and, get ready, cook the food you want, go work out, run the errands you want. It's a lot. So just know that it's just a phase and it's not going to be like that forever. What I would say is if you have 5 to 10 minutes here and there, create some routines that you know are going to help you feel good. Whether that's putting on a couple makeup products, right? Some moisturizer, some blush, mascara, brushing your hair. Like for me, that was big in postpartum, just like feeling a little bit put together just made me feel better. Movement, right? 5 to 10 minutes. Once you're cleared, obviously, to work out, find like a little body weight workout circuit that you can do, whether it's some squats, some lunges, maybe you can do some, push-ups, knee with your knees, little things that you can do to move your body that you know will help you feel better. I think in this time, the most crucial part is to fuel you, fuel baby, and know, again, it's not going to be like that forever, but the more that little things that you can do to help fuel yourself in the long run, once you do have all the time back and space to create longer routines, like you're going to feel more supported and in a healthier state because you had already been working on those little things. Okay, next question. I'm not trying to make my legs bulky, just trying to slim down and tone. What would you recommend? Everybody's different. I think that nutrition, again, plays a huge role in this because when you want your legs toned, you want to see the muscle. That means having a body fat that's low enough to really see those muscles come through. So go get a DEXA, go get an InBody. There's some at-home scales that can show you what those body comp stats look like. So you might need to lower your body fat a little bit. But I think when it comes to specific exercises, and I'm thinking about me, like what has worked for me is not overtraining legs. So you want to give your legs some time to recover. So I think maxing out at like 2 to 3 times a week max is going to be helpful. And then a lot of single leg work. So I do a lot of like Bulgarian split squats. I love single leg Russian deadlifts. One exercise that I think has really helped with my definition in my legs is goblet squats. That's going to be working a lot of quads. So, for me, it's like when I have lower body fat, kind of incorporate all of those different exercises, I feel like I get more toned legs. So hopefully that's helpful. What is the face foundation and mascara that you use? All right. So I found a foundation that I love. That is a clean product, clean brand. So it's Kosas, their foundation. And I feel like it's not too thick. It's not too thin. It gives enough coverage and still feels like lightweight. So I sometimes will even mix this with a moisturizer, but it's very hydrating. And then mascara I use, I'm not going to pronounce this brand right, but it's Saie, Say. But I love their products. Again, that's a clean brand. And I love this mascara because it creates volume. I always do a couple coats, but it also has a brush that combs and separates the lashes, which I really like. But I have a full list of all the products I use makeup wise. It's on my LTK. I will link it for you guys in the show notes, but I love makeup, love sharing good makeup products, but those are 2 of my favorites too. What does your weekly workout look like? Do you run every day? I do not run every day. I try to max that at 3 to 4 times a week, depending on what my training looks like. Right now, I'm training for Hyrox, so it looks a little bit different. I'm doing a lot more running than I normally would. If I'm not training for any kind of running event or race, it's usually around 2 to 3 times a week. So right now, even in my workouts, I'm doing some running. So I would say it's more 4 to 5, even if they're shorter ones. But as far as dedicated runs, about 3 to 4. And that's a mix of some intervals, some long runs, some easy runs, just to kind of get a different feel and just part of my training, honestly. And then as far as my weekly split, so I'm doing 5 days of lifting. I have 1 rest day, and then I do 1 LISS, so low intensity steady state cardio day, where I will either do a long, easy run, not fast, or I will do the Stairmaster, which I love the Stairmaster. I just feel like it creates such good sweat. And then as far as my lifts, so I have 2 upper body, I have 2 lower body, and a full body. And then in those workouts, I'm following actually my Hyrox program in my app. So if you're wanting to do Hyrox or endurance type of training, definitely check it out. But I am doing a lot of Hyrox specific workouts in there. Today's episode is brought to you by Dream Recovery, the ultimate brand for optimizing your rest and recovery. As someone who is about creating a healthy balance in all areas of their health, I know how much good sleep transforms your performance in your everyday life, and Dream Recovery takes it to the next level. Dream Recovery's innovative products are designed to help you wake up feeling like your best self, whether it's their Dream Strips, which I personally use every night, that help you breathe better and sleep deeper, or their Dream Tape Plus, infused with anti-aging skincare to promote nasal breathing and glowing skin. This brand is all about helping you feel refreshed, restored, and ready to conquer the day. I personally thought mouth tape was just a trend, but decided to try it out anyways, and I kid you not, you guys, after a few nights of using it, I noticed my sleep improved and my energy increased. I really could see the difference on my Garmin watch and saw my REM and deep sleep cycles lengthen, which was wild to me. Bonus, if your partner snores, slap some mouth tape on them because Ian even stopped snoring. I love that Dream Recovery's mission is rooted in the idea of awakening our full potential, because when we sleep better, we do better. So whether you're an athlete, a busy parent, or just someone trying to prioritize wellness, Dream Recovery has the tools you need to level up your recovery game. Visit dreamrecovery.io and use the code SAM15 at checkout. How to deal with not putting your babies to bed every night after divorce. It's too difficult. So I'm not sure if the person who sent this question in is experiencing this or just imagining if it would be difficult, but I'm here to tell you it is difficult. It's really hard, especially when you scroll through photos on your phone and you see them and all you want to do is just hold them. put them to bed. This is something that I don't think will ever get to the point where it's easy. In the beginning, it was a lot harder. Thankfully, I am with somebody who is in the same situation as me. We had the same parenting schedule. So the days that I don't have the kids, he doesn't have Reagan, his daughter, and we're kind of like in it together, backing up to like marriage and divorce. I don't think anybody gets married and has kids with the intent to get divorced. That's never anybody's logic when it comes to that process. For me, I knew that life would be a lot healthier and less toxic being divorced and having separate homes and, splitting custody with my ex with my kids. But I knew it was never going to be easier. And it's just really hard sometimes. But things that help me get through it is knowing that they are loved with their dad. So he is a great dad and they are happy with him as well. So I know that they are taken care of and loved on. It honestly makes the times that I do have them that much better in the sense that like I try to be as present as I can and give 150% because I don't have them the other parts of the time and it's hard. So when I'm with them, it's like, okay, I'm like fully on, fully present, trying to make the most of that time because it's not me being able to see them every single day. And those bedtime routines look a little bit different. Like I am holding them a little bit more and giving them all the kisses and all the love and all the hugs because I know I don't get that every single night. So it is difficult. But I also try to take the time that I'm not with them and just run full force with my business and myself. So it's like the days that I don't have them, the nights that I don't get to put them to bed, I am working, usually editing content, late night workouts, just trying to take time for me because I know at the end of the day, like that's going to fuel me to be a better mom, better partner, better friend, better daughter, better whatever. And then also I'll be able to like fully be present with them. So I try to like play catch up on the times that I don't have them, but it's hard. It's not easy. Biggest tip to see abs, is it nutrition? You are right. It is nutrition. But it is also workouts too. I mean, you can't just like eat right and then have like a six pack unless you're like genetically gifted, which can happen. I was never like that. So I really had to work on the definition that I have, and nutrition does play the first part in that. So making sure that you are eating enough to create those abs through movement. It's going to help fuel you to have more effective workouts. And then when it comes to protein, like getting enough protein in, it's going to be sent to your muscles and create that lean muscle mass that you want. I think also too, having lower body fat is going to help those muscles pop through. So if you have a higher body fat percentage, it's going to be harder to see that definition and those abs. At the end of the day, that's just how it is. So getting your body fat low enough to where you can see those abs come through. When it comes to movement, I would say you don't need to do abs every single day. Think of it like any other muscle in your body. Like if you're doing legs every single day, you're overtraining, and you're not going to see much growth because you have to give time for your muscles to recover. Right? If you're just continuing to stress them, like they're not going to grow the way you want. It's the same thing with abs. You need to start thinking about abs the same way as any other muscle. So for me personally, I do abs about 3 to 4 times a week. And when I say like abs, like core work, they're just like little blasters that I do at the end of my workouts. Like I'll do 3 sets of 3 exercises. It takes me maybe 8 minutes, 10 minutes total. But for me, my definition starts with compound movements. So I love the barbell. Y'all know this. So strict press, squats, reverse lunges, deadlifts, all of those movements are going to help create a strong core, because to be effective with these exercises, you have to brace your core. It's going to strengthen it over time. So I think, again, another reason why I'm so passionate about compound movements is it touches every other part of your body, and especially your core. What would be your gas station meal? I'm gonna back up. I would say if you were traveling where you would be stopping at a gas station, I would challenge you to pack your own snacks first. I realize this is not always feasible in that sense, but I am such a believer in packing your own snacks. So some of my favorite are chopsticks, hard-boiled eggs. You could do nuts, protein bars that are clean. I love Promix, protein shakes, little things like that, apples, fruit, veggies, whatever that may be. If you have like a little cooler, even better. If it's like a road trip or even a plane, you can take that on the plane too. Now, if you're in a situation where you have no access to any of those things that you packed, if I was walking in a gas station, this is what I would do. For hydration, water. I would then probably grab some hard-boiled eggs. That would be like my number one, maybe a couple packs. I would get some nuts, so maybe some almonds or cashews, and then look on the ingredients and make sure that it doesn't have any kind of like oils on it. When you're buying nuts, you really just want it to be like the nut as the ingredient and then salt, like no added oils or anything. And then if you're in a situation where maybe you don't have that as access, I would do some like beef jerky, some like dried meat. The protein shakes that are in the coolers are not perfect ingredients, but I think like the Core Power, Fairlife, obviously it's not like SAM approved in my head, but it's better than Doritos. So those would probably be like some of my top picks. I know a lot of the times the little refrigerator cooler sections have like little protein packs. So like cheese, little meats, nuts, veggies, little things like that. So I would definitely opt for whole foods first that are perishable versus packaged. That would be my advice. How to move on from friends whose lifestyle no longer aligns with how you want to go. I feel this because the past couple of years, my life looks completely different than it used to. And I have some friendships that are no longer because of that. And first, I think that we need to know that that's okay. I think that we put so much pressure on ourselves to like, once we make a friend, like that has to be a lifelong situation. Like obviously, even myself, I have some lifelong best friends, but I think that not all friendships are meant to last forever. I do believe that, it's a season for a reason, that whole motto or whatever. Like I think there's so much truth to that. I think that we are allowed to outgrow people. And the way I like to think of it is as you evolve, your priorities evolve. And if you're not aligned with somebody that is making a positive impact on your priorities, or maybe they're holding you back, they're not meant to come with you as you evolve at the end of the day. And like, I know that might sound kind of harsh, but my life changed, like I said, overnight. The past couple of years, it's just been a lot crazy when it comes to, the divorce I went through, career change, just like a lot of like social time that I don't have the way like I used to. Like my time's just very valuable. And, with the majority of my close friends really understood that, but there were some that did not, that, were interested in other things like drinking and not living the healthiest lifestyle. And for me, I knew that would hold me back if I put my time and energy into those friendships. And so I had to take the approach that I'm talking about, in the sense that as we evolve, not everybody's going to come with you, and that's okay. I like to take that Mel Robbins approach as far as like the let them theory. And it's like, you focus on you fuel yourself, you do what you need to do in order to be your strongest self. And if other people have a problem with that, that's their issue. That's not your issue. And it's unfortunate, but life's short, guys. Like, you've got to put yourself and your own health first. And I also think that like when you do release those friendships, it doesn't have to be like a big dramatic situation. I think that you can like just kind of create some space and release mentally and like check in with yourself, like release that with gratitude versus resentment. Like it doesn't have to be like, oh, all they do is drink, or they live this kind of health, lifestyle that's not conducive to mine. And, I have this resentment. Like it doesn't have to be like that mindset. Release with gratitude, not resentment. And that's going to create more peace about it in the long run. You don't always have to explain yourself. Like your peace doesn't have to be explained at the end of the day. And it doesn't have to be like a huge traumatic situation. You just got to focus on you and what's best for you. Do you always finish the meals that you post? This is a good one. The majority of the time, yes, especially if they're at home. Like everything that I post, whether it's like my egg scrambles or like chicken, broccoli, salads, like the majority of that is eaten, because I'm at a point right now where I am tracking a lot of my food. So I'm weighing it all, and it's like every bite matters in that sense. I haven't always done that, but right now I currently am. But if I'm out and you guys are seeing a picture of a dessert or a cinnamon roll, I am not eating the whole thing, especially again, if it's like sugar. I can enjoy a couple bites and be done with it. I know not everybody has that willpower, but to me, like that's all I need. And you know what? If he was here, he would tell you the one that does finish those meals is Ian. He loves all the sugar just like I do, but he will eat the majority of the plate. But yeah, if it's out, not always, just because the portions are so big. If anything, I try to eat like all the protein. So if it's like a big dish and there's chicken and other meats, whatever that may be, I try to eat all the protein. But sometimes if it's a load of pasta or mashed potatoes or whatever, sweet potatoes, whatever that may be, I'm not always eating all of it if out. But at home, the majority of the time, yes. What is your hair routine after working out? And are you doing a full wash? Okay, I'm trying to think how I want to go about this. So I am blessed in the sense that I don't really sweat on my scalp and my face a ton, which I don't know if that's a good thing. Like I would love for a doctor who knows about sweating and everything to tell me what that means. It could be that I have like a lot of heavy metals. I have no idea, but I don't sweat a ton on my scalp and like my forehead. I sweat a lot on my chest, obviously my underarms, every other part of my body, but not my head and scalp. So because of this, I don't feel like I have to wash my hair a lot. If it does get sweaty, I will kind of blow dry it out. Like that sounds really gross, but then I'll just put like a dry shampoo. I've been using Divi, D-I-V-I. It's pretty clean. I'll put that in the show notes as well, but I really like that. I like the smell of it too. And I'll just kind of like fluff it up and blow dry it and go about my day. But I also try to do like little headbands that you guys see me wear to kind of hold back everything. If I know it's going to be like a Hyrox workout, or I don't want like my bangs like hitting the rest of my face where maybe I am sweating, I kind of like will just do that a couple of days, like the dry shampoo route, and then I wash every like 3 to 4. Do you drink alcohol? Once in a blue moon. No pun intended. But no, for real, I honestly don't drink a ton. I used to drink a lot more back in like my college days, younger days, but I felt like it just kind of held me back. For me, like I don't methylate well, so I feel like just a couple drinks, like I can feel that the next day and honestly like the day after, and it just like held me back with my training and getting the body comp results that I wanted. So I honestly just kind of like cut it out. I have nothing against it. And if like you like to drink, that's great. Like I totally support that. But I do know too that as long as you have alcohol in your system, you're not burning fat the way you should. So I feel like it can hold you back depending how much you have. With my clients, I always say like 2 drinks a week is fine. Like that's not going to like cause any kind of like situation where it's going to hold you back much. But you know, if you're drinking every single night and you're working out and trying to eat well and you're wondering why you're not seeing the results that you want, it could be the alcohol. So I would challenge you to maybe play around with that, maybe limit that. But for me, like I do love like a good Prosecco if we're at a wedding, or a vodka soda with lime if we're out at dinner. But it's usually like once a quarter, once every 6 months. Like I just don't have much of a desire. Creatine truths and myths. And do you take before or after your workouts? And is there a proper time to take it? So let's go over some myths first. Creatine isn't natural. So it completely is natural. It's actually a natural occurring compound that's found in your body. Your body will naturally produce about 1 to 2 grams a day. It's also found in a lot of like fish and red meats. And what it does is it has a lot of benefits. But when you think about like performance from a physical standpoint and cognitive standpoint, so it helps regenerate ATP production, which is like the body's main energy source in the cells in the muscle. So think of it when it comes to short explosive movements, that's going to help fuel that. So it can really help with performance. And that's something that I saw is I just felt stronger in my workouts and sustained strength throughout the day since taking creatine. Creatine causes water retention. So yes, it does, but it does not cause water retention underneath the skin. It's actually causing water retention inside the cells in the muscle. So what creatine is doing is it's taking all of the water in your body and sending it to your muscles. So it's naturally going to give you a more, I guess you could say like puffy look, but it's from your muscles, nowhere else. And I will say that if you are new to creatine and you start with like a higher dose, again, I'm not like a medical professional, but from what I've seen for myself and like clients, is that there can be a little bit more water retention and more puffy, bloated look and feeling for the first couple weeks as your body is used to being supplemented with a higher dose. But usually with that continued dosing, that subsides. So what I would recommend, and something that I did, is start with like a lower dose if you are nervous about that. So around like 2.5, 3 grams, and then work your way up to 5 daily. As far as timing. So timing of the day doesn't matter as much as consistency every single day. So for me, I put it with like my electrolytes and my amino acids and my water during my workouts. There's not like a lot of studies out there that show efficacy around what's better for you, like morning, night, day, time of day. It's more so like the consistency. So making sure that you're taking it every single day. Castor oil wraps, spill the deets. Okay, I need to just make a reel on the castor oil wraps because I get so many questions. You guys, I'm obsessed. I started doing castor oil wraps last year and wow, I notice such a difference. So what it does is it's going to help support lymphatic drainage and detoxification. I do a couple different ways. So I have like a full-on wrap that I bought on Amazon. I can link it in the show notes. And then obviously like the castor oil, and it will just wrap around your stomach and kind of hit like where those organs are, your kidneys. And then I also have these little patches that will go directly on the belly button. So you just do like a tablespoon and it sticks. It's like mess free because it has adhesive and kind of adheres right over your belly button. The wraps can get a little bit messy because depending on how many times you use it in a row without like washing it, which is kind of hard to wash, you have to do like warm water and baking soda to kind of extract all the oil. It's a process. I honestly just buy a new one because it's just too much. It can get messy. And so it will stain your sheets. It will stain your clothes. So I have like a full-on sweatsuit that I wear whenever I do my castor oil wraps. But that way I just know, okay, it's going to stain it. I don't care. I also like lay down a towel because I don't want my sheets to get ruined. But I noticed so many benefits. So it's like worth it to me. I just feel like it helps with digestion. I notice a difference in bloating. It just really helps stimulate everything like in your organs, in your stomach, underneath the skin. And I can just like really feel a difference. So if you deal with like digestion issues or bloating, definitely give it a try. Let me know your thoughts. Benefits you have noticed from NAD. So I do the nasal spray of NAD, and I honestly just learned about peptides like about a year ago. Kind of was like, not against it, but apprehensive to the idea just because I didn't know a lot about it. But I do the nasal spray every single day and I've noticed so many benefits. Like I'm obsessed with it. So first off, NAD, it's a coenzyme. It's found in your body. It's natural. It's in every cell of your body. It plays a role when it comes to energy production, DNA repair, and cellular health. So what I have noticed is more sustained energy throughout the day. And the biggest one is the brain fog. Like my brain fog is completely gone since taking that, which is crazy. It also has helped balance my mood. Like I just feel more balanced throughout the day. So a lot of great benefits that I have personally noticed. And I do mine through Joy Women's Wellness. I know I've talked about them before. That's where I get all my blood work done, but that is the specific place that I get my NAD nasal spray from. So when is the best time to eat carbs and which are the best to incorporate? So first, everyone is different. And I really do think it depends on your goals. If you are looking for like a weight loss perspective, like it doesn't really matter, like calories in, calories out, like you have your assigned macros. However, I think that if you're training for something specific or really trying to lean into reducing some body fat and getting specific with nutrient timing, it's going to be helpful to put your carbs around the highest levels of activity that you have in your day. So if you are most active in the morning and you like to work out in the morning, I would do carbs, or at least the majority of your carbs, before and after your workout and in that first part of the day. That's going to help give you the energy you need. It's also going to help fuel your workouts, right? Replenish those glycogen stores, which is the energy for all of the muscles. So there's a lot of benefits when it comes to nutrient timing there. Fat also slows digestion. So I think for me, like the way my body responds the best is what I just said. I like to time out a lot of my carbs around the highest level of activity in the day. And then I do a lot of my fats like later in the day. However, there are some people that are completely opposite. Like I know Huberman, I've heard him say that he likes to do his carbs at night. And carbs do play a role when it comes to melatonin production. So there's like science there. But I think it really just depends on the person and kind of what your goals are. Tips for someone who enjoys exercising for a few months, then life gets in the way. I feel this. I have been there. I'm going to try to say this in a way that's like not too intense, but at the end of the day, I think that we all have to stop making excuses and we have to make things a priority. And for me, like working out is one of those priorities. And it doesn't have to be an hour, but even if you just dedicate like 10 minutes a day as a priority, and I've said this before, like think of it like fueling yourself every day with food. Like that is a non-negotiable. That is a priority, right? You have to fuel, you have to eat to live. Kind of think of it like that same mindset. Like life gets crazy. I get it. I am there right now, balancing mom life, career, personal life, business, all the things. But at the end of the day, that movement and that routine helps me feel better and handle all those facets in my life a lot easier because I feel fueled. So I think that we just need to make things a priority and kind of just shift that mindset. Again, with the time aspect, I think it's about dedicating an amount of time that you know is sustainable. So if you're like, okay, I need to go get in an hour workout, but I don't have time, do 20 minutes instead. Like do that 3 times a week and stick to it. And then eventually it's going to be a habit. It's going to be a lifestyle and a non-negotiable for you. Okay, these are so much fun to do and it's so hard to pick them because there are so many good ones, but hopefully this was helpful and that you're able to take something and run with it today. And honestly, able to get to know me a little bit better. I love chatting with you guys. It's so much fun. If there are any questions that you want answered on the next Q&A, leave a comment, let me know. Would love to hear from you guys, but love chatting with y'all and hope you have a great day.